for coming on the call. I guess we beat them. I thank all you all for coming on the call this morning. We're going to try to get through this, but we definitely want to answer questions and let folks know what's going on here and in Clayton County. First of all, we're going to start with just the state of what's happening here. Our lakes, let's start with the big one. Lakes Spivey Recreation Center is scheduled to open Memorial Day. So that's going to be a huge, huge event. I'm going to let Troy talk a little bit about that, but we have some pieces in that park that are going to be second to none in Georgia. I think we're going to be the premier park here in the state of Georgia. So I think that's going to be great for that. Is my voice coming through okay here? Okay. What else do we have? We're having all right, is that better? Okay. We've passed and we're having a community trash day. We're scheduling 4 days for that. That's going to be March 11th and 12th and March 18th and 19th. We're going to tell you where we're going to put the big dumpsters out, and you will be able to bring your large items in and just dump them off free of charge. We'll also have over at the dump site, there will be a no charge. So if you don't want to come straight there, you can take your large items straight to the dump and there will be no charge. So that's going to be March 11th and 12th, as well as March 18th and 19th. They're going to be rotated throughout all the districts. So 18th and 19th will be at 2 districts, and the 19th, 20th, 18th, and 11th and 12th will be at 2 other districts. We still have a lot of folks that are in need. So I want to make sure that everyone knows we still have emergency rental assistance. We've given away roughly $5 million so far, and we're still going to continue to help those that are in need. For those that are in need, you can go to georgiarentalassistance.ga.gov to apply. That's Georgia spelled out, rentalassistance.ga.gov. So anyone you know that's in need and needs some financial resources to help us, to help themselves, please feel free to go to that site. We want to make sure that everyone in Clayton County is taken care of. We want to keep our homeless population, get it to 0. That would be our goal here. Also, just to let you all know, because we talk about a lot of these developments, we have a new proposed townhomes going up on Highway 138, right down from headquarters, both sides of the street. It appears to be somewhat of a nice development. Those will all 100% be for sale. So we're in discussion phase of that right now. So as it gets closer and they begin to put forth some type of sketches and renderings, we'll definitely keep you all aware of that. I want to keep you all aware before we go to the hearings rather than after or at the hearings. So that's my goal here. What else do we have? We have a new Walt Stevens project. Those of you that are familiar with the old Walker Nursery, it was sold 2 weeks ago. And we have folks that are looking to bring a urban village in there. So they're looking at bringing trails as well as farm to table restaurants, a nice walking trail. So I have a meeting with them scheduled over the next week to 2 weeks to begin to talk about that. So I think that's going to be very exciting here for the Clayton County area as well. What else do we have here? We have had code enforcement, and I'll let them begin to speak of that. We've had a blitz on Highway 1941. So that is to begin to clean up that area. We've cleaned it up. For some reason, there's just been an excessive amount of trash through that corridor and a couple of other corridors. So we've been really trying to get on that and nail that down of what's going on. So we have that as well. And then what else do we have? We are now about to go into the bid phase of the, and I'll let Troy speak on that as well, as far as our amphitheater. So I think we're moving this county forward. It's taken some time, but we're moving in a positive direction and we want to keep it going. And lastly, let me say thank you for all that donated and put forth their time at the warming shelter the last 2 weeks. It was supposed to be 2 days, it went 10. We got a lot of donations and blankets and funding and food. And it was just good to see Clayton County residents step up and do their part. We had our police officers, they did a fabulous job. I mean, in handing out meals and things of that nature as well. So I just want to say kudos to the Clayton County citizens that stepped up and did it. And you did a much better job than the government could ever do. So I just want to applaud you all for that as well. So we're not going to keep it going long. We're going to get right into it. Let's bring on first Troy Hodges, since we're still talking about that Parks and Rec. Troy, tell us about what's happening here.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Commissioner Davis. Yes, International Park. International Park will be open Memorial Day weekend. That will be our opening day. That's a Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. That particular Saturday, of course, the new water park will be opened. We'll have fireworks that day. We'll also have fireworks on July 4th weekend. However, we won't do fireworks on July 4th. We'll do them on that Saturday. And again on Memorial Day. So we'll have 3 fireworks shows this year at International Park. Water Park will be open Memorial Day weekend. We'll be announcing within the next couple of weeks our season pass pricing and when you can get your season pass, and everybody will be able to, if you do get a season pass this year, you'll have special privileges. We're doing discounts for Clayton County residents. We've got a lot planned. Commissioner Davis has made sure that the Clayton County residents receive good discounts and special benefits for this very large SPLOST project. And we've got several events planned for Valentine's Day. We've got the where you can drop the kids off at our recreation centers, and they'll be able to do activities, and you and your better half could go out and get a bite to eat, and we'll take care of the kids for the night. Our after school camps are going good. Let's see.
Troy, make sure you tell them, pick those kids up. Don't leave them kids overnight.
Oh, yeah, you got to pick them up by 9 o'clock. So it can't be an all-nighter, but it'll be, at least you can get a couple of hours away. But we've got a lot of things going at Parks and Recreation. The amphitheater is in full swing with the design, with our design firm. It's going to be, again, something we can be proud of. We're, in the next coming weeks, we're also going to be repaving the entire parking lot at International Park. So you may see some closings here and there, so the crews can repave all of the parking lots, but we'll be sure to announce those beforehand. Anything else you wanted me to cover, Commissioner Davis?
No, that sounds good. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Hodges on what's going on with any of the other parks or rec facilities? All right, Troy.
Go ahead. One more thing, the baseball, softball, and track and field the registration is underway. We had overwhelming, a lot of our age groups are full already. But if you're interested in soccer, all of our spring sports, baseball, football, softball, track and field, we're doing registration, and you can go online and see if there's any openings, or you can give us a call and we'll get you in the right direction.
Great. And also too, just to make folks aware, how are you handling the COVID situation with the registration? Just let folks know that, how you're keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, all of our recreation center, or all of our county facilities, are still under a mask protocol. Our registration in spring sports, are still, in COVID protocol with social distancing as much as possible. A lot of our events are outdoors, so the risk is not that great as it would be indoor sports. But so we're still under businesses previously with COVID. So
Great. Well, thank you, Troy. Thank you for that update. I appreciate it, and job well done.
thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.
Will do. Thank you. Next, we want to go to, I'm trying to find my list here. Do we have, okay. Let's get to our crime stats. Chief, you want to start it off, and we'll let Captain Flynn and the rest come behind you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Good morning, District 4. Always a pleasure to join you. In reference to crime, we're looking good. The overall violent crime rate for January of this year compared to last year, we were 20.5% down. That's a significant decrease, and it's all due to the hard work of the men and women of the Clayton County Police Department in partnership with the community. Not this time, the end of January last year, we had 3 homicides. We ended this January with 1. We did have an additional homicide this month, early, I believe it was last week. And once again, when we ended the year, I pointed out that the majority of our homicides had a domestic relationship. This one does too. These were individuals that were known to each other, and they were engaging in an exchange, and one half of the party didn't feel the exchange was going the way they thought it should. Thus, they produced a weapon, and it resulted in the death of a young man. But that being said, we know all the suspects. We've obtained warrants. They should be in custody here soon, so there should be no threat to the community. As we move forward, I expect that trend to continue without violent crime going down. Of course, as we approach our warmer months, we'll increase our presence in designated areas, but we're doing well, Clayton County, in that area. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Commissioner Davis and the Board of Commissioners. They saw fit to provide a public safety increase in wages. I don't know if you're paying attention in the media and in just news in general. You see a lot of public safety agencies prioritizing their law enforcement agencies and making the atmosphere very much more competitive. And we have great women and men here, and we want to keep them here. And the board agreed with me in that they saw the value in providing an increase to our public safety. And so we appreciate that. And that will give us a tool to recruit even more aggressively to fill our ranks and keep Clayton County safe. As we move forward into this month, I just want to tell you about a couple of events that are upcoming. Our annual Faith Forum, which will be virtual this year, is forthcoming on February 21st. It'll be from 10:30 to noon with our faith-based leaders. We always want to keep in touch with them, make sure we're doing everything we can to keep our churches safe. But not only that, to get a pulse of what the community needs through our faith-based institutions. So we always want to stay connected with them. And our agency always wants to stay connected with you. So March 10th, I believe it is, we will be having our first quarter coffee with the chief at Quick Trip, I believe on Riverdale Road, from 7 a.m. to 8 is what we usually put on the calendar, but we'll stay as long as we have people that want to talk to the police. So if you would, to keep up with our upcoming events, go to our website, claytonpolice.com, catch us on Facebook, Twitter, and I know I'm missing Neighbors. We're on all those platforms for you to reach out to us, stay connected, and know what we're doing. But Clayton County, keep up the good work. Commissioner, that's all I have. And I will bring up, I believe, Captain Maddox, are you on deck?
Before Captain Mattis, Chief Roberts, can you give those websites again, just a little slower so folks can get them?
You would do that. How about go to claytonpolice.com, and all of our social media platforms are there for you to connect to, but we're on Twitter. We have a Clayton County Police Facebook page, and we're on the Neighbors portal also. So, but if I'm going too fast, like the commissioner said, I see some heads looking down, trying to write it down. The most important address you need is claytonpolice.com, and that'll get you to everything else.
Thank you, Chief.
Outstanding. Captain Maddox?
Yes, I am here.
On you, sir.
Good morning to everyone. Just to talk a little about the portion of the district that's in my sector. We had a few entering autos that continues to be an issue in the county. And again, I'm going to be a broken record when it comes to this. Please, please, please do not leave your guns in your cars. It still continues to be a problem. It's not as bad as it was last year so far this year, but it does still continue to be a problem. And I always encourage people to take any valuables out of your vehicles, because it's an easy pick for somebody. They'll just bust your window. Not only do you end up with a busted window, but your iPad, phone, whatever's inside the car ends up missing as well. So let me emphasize, just like around the holidays when you tell you not to leave your Christmas presents and stuff inside the car, the same thing. It's a year-round kind of thing. I wish we could do more about it. It seems like they're hitting the areas where we're not. We're trying to be as proactive as we can out there to prevent this kind of thing, but that just doesn't seem to be slowing down a whole lot. It has slowed down some. It is a little bit less than what we were doing last year. I think we've improved a little bit, and we're being a little more proactive. And we have made some arrests as well over the last couple months of people actually catching them by citizens giving us some information. We were able to get out there and catch a few of these guys, and so we've got a few of them. But it still continues. And again, the broken record is don't leave your guns in your cars, please. That's what I got on that. If there's any questions for me.
Captain, can you also define where your area in District 4 is so folks will know?
It's mainly an area off of Roundtree Road in 138 in that area over there. It's the southeast. Get my directions. I'm usually better than that. The southeast corner of my sector is in that area down there. And I happen to live in Commissioner Davis's district on the south end of the county. So again, a reminder to everybody, I live in the county as well.
Yes.
So I get to enjoy driving up Terra Boulevard every morning in the traffic coming up here, then hitting Valley Hill and the lovely bridge, looking at the new bridge that they're building over the Flint River up there as well every day.
Yeah, and I thank you for your private conversations on how to make this county a better county, because I am not a law enforcement professional and I don't even play one on TV, but he comes up with some very good ideas. So I just want to say thank you. The citizen Robert Maddox.
Yes, last meeting I was Mr. Maddox as opposed to
Yes,
Captain.
sir. Yes, sir. So thank you.
Hey, with that, Commissioner Davis, Mr. Maddox has taken me to task several times too, so he can be a little bit aggressive, but I welcome Mr. Maddox. I love Captain Maddox, but Mr. Maddox is a different type of guy. Captain
I know I can keep Mr. Maddox, but I just got to make sure I don't lose Captain Maddox.
Got you. Captain Flynn on deck.
All right, good morning, everybody. To piggyback off of what Captain Maddox said, the only other area that I could really stress is we've seen a little uptick in stolen vehicles. And with the cold weather, of course, people have been starting their cars and leaving them unattended in their driveways or in the parking lots of apartment complexes. And that's been the real contributing factor to the increase that we've seen, is just vehicles being left running unattended. And it's just a welcome mat to anybody with that criminal mind that wants to deprive them of their vehicle. So if whatever you can do to reduce that, whether it be just sit in your car while it's warming up if you have to, or for vehicles that have the automatic starters or things like that, if you can lock the vehicle. A lot of times most modern vehicles, if the car is running and the key is not with it and the doors are locked, it can't be basically taken out of park. It basically is disabled in that way. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Instead of really talking about the crime side, I want to sing the praises of the real police, as the chief likes to call them all the time. Here over the last several weeks, Sector 4 has really been doing well, particularly my morning watch. They have apprehended they caught an attempted carjacking in progress and actually apprehended that person, removed him from the streets, and a gun. There were several stolen vehicles. We had 2 in the last 2 days that were occupied stolen vehicles that we have actually managed to recover the stolen vehicle and take people into custody on those. There were a couple of other stolen vehicles about 3 weeks ago 2 or 3 nights in a row that we wound up getting occupied stolen vehicles. And then over at Sunbelt Rentals on Jonesboro Road, right there below Battle Creek, we actually caught had a burglary in progress, and the morning watch responded over there and was actually able to catch one of the 2 people in that. So the men and women of Sector 4 are working very hard, and they are, they're not sitting back. Everybody talks about the COVID concerns and things like that and the cold weather, and they have been out there and doing hard work. And like Commissioner Davis was saying, when the warming shelter was open, I tried to make sure that we had officers up there just to make sure we didn't have any issues or anything at the warming shelters, and they have not missed a beat. They have been working, and I'm very proud of the efforts that they've been putting through. And I just think the citizens deserve to hear that. I know we talk about it in our weekly meetings with the chief, but I wanted to take this opportunity and really put it out there that the men and women of Sector 4, I'm sure the other sectors would speak equally well if they were represented otherwise. But Sector 4 has really been performing well here. They do all the time, but particularly these last 2 to 3 months, they have really been working hard and trying to deter crime. And when crime does occur, they're actually working very hard to apprehend the people who are responsible for it. So that's what I have, Commissioner.
Great, thank you. And I just want to thank you all for all the hard work you're doing. It's showing, so that's a great thing. So I appreciate it all. Code enforcement. Let's move straight in. Do we have anyone from code enforcement on this morning? I've got my screen on small, so I can't see everyone.
Officer Aldridge from Code Enforcement. Good morning.
Yes. Oh, yes, officer. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
All right. What you got? What's going on there? How are you? What's happening here in Clayton County with code enforcement?
Actually, Code Enforcement, we're awesome. And I just like to say that in regards to the quality of life, I think the more that we are out there, the more blitz that we do and hold citizens accountable for their properties, I think it is really improving the quality of life. Some are still difficult, but I think the more that we get out there and tackle the hard stuff, the better Clayton County becomes. And we will be present on those dates that you mentioned in
Yes.
regards to the cleanup. So we are definitely on board for that as well.
Well, can you describe, is there any way folks need to bring in their trash?
I'm not actually sure of all the details. I just know that we've been assigned and those details will be coming to us shortly.
Great. But I know this is for large items, so we're really looking forward to that. And hopefully that's going to assist us in minimizing some of the rubbish that are on our streets. We still have a ways to go, but we're going to work hard collectively to get this done. So thank you.
Are there any questions for me?
Yes, I have a question, please. My name is Nelda Dunson. I live in Jonesboro in the Foxfire subdivision, but the question I have is I have a house in Mara. It's on Impala Circle off Lake Harbin Road. The trash around the houses and trailers sitting on the street that's been there for months with flat tires. I understand code enforcement has been out there before, but nothing is ever done as far as getting them to clean it up. It's still a big mess. It looks like a trash pile on that entire street. Do you have any suggestions?
I do. I would be glad to take that location and I will see whether or not we have a case on it. But if it's a vacant building, we can definitely get that entered. We also have the opportunity of bringing on refuge in regards to if it's abandoned. There are other things that we can do in regards to the trailers on the street. We do deal with vehicles that are actually on the location, but we do not deal with them on the street. So we'll have to speak with our Captain Roberts, Chief Roberts, I'm sorry, in regards to getting the police to go out and tag those. But we can get those vehicles tagged that are on the street and we can get them tagged on the property.
Well, it isn't just the vehicles and trailers on the street. It's trash all around the houses. The house next door to my house is horrible with trash all over the place. So that's my concern, is all the trash, because people don't want to live in that type situation except for the ones that do live in it. And it's just a mess, and it really needs to be cleaned up.
I would agree. So, I mean, if I can have any of those addresses, if you want to call in separately, if you're okay with giving them to me over there, but I will definitely enter a case and someone will definitely come out there.
Well, I can give you the address of my house. It's 6391 Impala Circle, and it's right next door to it is one that is very, very bad. So,
Yes,
and then
ma'am.
down the street, you can just ride down the street and see them because they're all over the place. There is
I
one
would-
empty house there that's been there for years, and derelicts live in it, I think, most of the time. So it's just not a bad, it's not a good street right now to live on.
I will definitely get that particular case entered, and we will definitely get some code enforcement officers to ride that street.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And Ms. Dunstan, I copied the address in reference to the issues with the vehicles on the street, and I will be in touch with the sector captain to get some patrols through there to clean that up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really do.
All right, anything else for code enforcement?
Yes, I just want to thank Officer Aldridge and Code Enforcement. We really appreciate all that you do for the community.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ms. King.
Thank you all. Thank you
This is
all.
Judy Taylor too, and I'm certainly appreciate Officer Aldridge and everyone who comes into Sherwood Forest and helps us out so much, particularly since we have the apartment situation that's always has debris everywhere, and the gas station at the entrance that cannot keep their dumpster cleaned up and all the trash all over the place and things going on all the time. So they're a great help to us all the time. Anytime we ask, they're always there. And also to Captain Flynn, because we recently had an issue with pit bulls running loose in the neighborhood. And not only did animal control come, but this nice police officer got there first. And so he handled the situation until the other people got there to help out. And they all did a beautiful job. So, and we always appreciate our police officers and animal control and code enforcement. And of course, refuge controls. They're great.
Thank you. And Ms. Taylor, let me say thank you for the donations you made for the warming shelter. That was much appreciated. Thank you very much.
I didn't do that much, but I really appreciate the fact that you did what you did and everything too. And I had a question about that too. Has there been any talk about the county planning to have some kind of a situation just so they would be able to have an emergency shelter in case it's needed? And I thought about it when we were talking about the faith community getting together and meeting and everything too. It'd be a wonderful thing to talk about that, to see if they could help some way or other, so the county could come up with some kind of an emergency shelter situation if needed for when people lose power or when we have a storm or for bad weather or whatever. We need something like that. It shouldn't have to be that a citizen has to always pay for everything. They can donate and help, but they shouldn't have to do all that if the county could do it.
I understand. And I believe what is taking place here is that this has seeded and sparked a conversation. I know we have we've had some talks with the Board of Education about that partnership, but we've also had some churches that have stepped up. We had Turning Point Church that turned out fabulous. We had Divine Faith as well. So we definitely want to give kudos to where we're going, but we're going to put together, hopefully in the near future, a program that is, I'll just say, sponsored by our local government, because it is needed. So thank you for that. I don't know if Judge Wright is on the call. She is in Michigan. Her daughter is having a baby, and she said she was going to try to join depending on what the baby's plans were here. So Judge, I don't see her. And she was going on. Well, let me just say, she's done a fabulous job in helping us with this rental assistance. What she's done, she's really stepped out there and made this a major priority. So I'm going to let her come on later on and begin to discuss that. But what that magistrate court is doing is awesome. So when you all see her, just tell her thank you for a job well done for that. And we will move on to, now we have a special, we've got our Board of Education member, Mark Christmas, online. and he's having a what's it called, Crossing the Brooks of Literacy. So I want him to tell a little bit about what that is, when it's going on, and what he's trying to accomplish here.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Once again, my name is Mark Christmas, District 2 School Board. We're doing it at Brooks Crossing. Brooks Crossing had the highest eviction rate.
Do we breaking up, Mark? Are we losing him? Uh-oh. Well, I tell you what, let's see if we can get him back on here. Maybe he'll log back on, but let's just keep moving until he gets on. We also have another group that's dealing in mentorship, and it's called the Foster Care Support Foundation. And we want to bring on Jordan Rayburn to tell about what she's doing and the impact she's trying to create here in Clayton County, and how the citizens can begin to assist her.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me today. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So I won't take up too much of your time. I am part of the Foster Care Support Foundation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit that serves youth in both foster and kinship care throughout the state of Georgia. We recently expanded our mentoring program into Clayton County, and so we are in need of volunteers to mentor youth in care. So that's why I'm here today, to speak a little bit about the program. I'll give a brief overview, and hopefully if we have time, I can answer some questions. This is a one-on-one mentoring program. So one mentor is matched with one mentee for the duration of 1 year. We ask that our mentors meet with their mentees for 4 hours per month, but the schedules are very flexible in that you make your own schedule with the mentee and the caregiver. So for example, the majority of our matches actually meet every other weekend, for example, Saturday at 2 o'clock, if that works best for you. So the schedules are very flexible. We don't have a certain schedule that you have to follow. We just ask for a minimum of 4 hours a month of in-person visits. We focus on the areas of personal, academic, and professional growth. However, we do allow our mentors to pick their activities with their mentees. And the parameters, the only really parameters are that it takes place in a public arena. So for example, if you and your mentee really enjoy the arts, you could go do an art class together, or visit a museum, or go to a festival. It really depends on what your interests are. We, as we are a one-on-one program, we use certain criteria to do our matches. So we focus on the personalities of the mentors and mentees themselves, as well as the so we have common interests, and we do kind of try to keep our matches within 30 minutes of each other, so geographic proximity to allow for to facilitate you seeing them regularly. But it's a very wonderful program. We do provide training prior to being matched, as well as ongoing support throughout the entirety of the program. And this is all free for the mentors and the mentees that are in our program. So we just want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to participate. Again, all of our youth are in either foster or kinship care. I've added my contact information into the chat, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any questions.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Rayburn? I think this is a program that is definitely needed in not only our community, but all communities. And I thank you for what you're doing here with bringing this forward to us and letting us assist you in any way we can. So if you can go ahead,
today. Thank you.
Just go ahead and send me any information you have as well. My address, demont.davis@claytoncountyga.gov. You can send something on over to me. We can begin to push that a little further. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Mr. Christmas, you're back.
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner Davis. My internet is acting up. I'm so sorry. But once again, Crossing the Brook of Literacy, it's just, we're trying to get those kids who are off track and who's off track and who hadn't had internet services and provide them with some services to get up get their literacy rates up. And we're doing it at Brook Crossing. The reason we're doing it at Brook Crossing is because Brook Crossing had the highest eviction rate for the last 2 years during the COVID pandemic. And I want to thank you for partnering with us in the library system in America Group. We'll be giving out STEM packets, and we'll be giving out rental assistant programs. We also have the secondary education literacy gift bags that we'll give out to those. We give out STEM packages, and we'll have it's not only just educational, we'll have a fun part as well, due to the fact that we will have a video truck. We're also teaching them, of course, literacy, but we'll have a video truck, icy truck, and thanks to Commissioner Davis for partnering with us, the school system. We're proud to be in our community. The great thing is it's all right in the district that I provide services for, right off of Taylor Road, and we're proud that we're trying to do more in the community as board members. You'll see us out more and more, just trying to make this county a better place to live, not only live, but to learn and to relax.
Great, great. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Christmas about this event? You want to tell them, you told them where, tell them when and the time?
The time is from 4 to 6 at Brook Crossing on Taylor Road. Let me get their address. 4 to 6 on Wednesday, the 16th, at Brook Crossing. 8050 Taylor Road, Riverdale, Georgia, 30274. But come out and be with us, enjoy the gaming truck, enjoy the STEM activities. If you have children, you can bring them by. We'll give out literacy bags until we run out. But we're trying to support not only the children in our community, but we're trying to support the community as a whole. Being that, and I have to reiterate, this apartment complex made the newspaper about being having the highest eviction rate in the state of Georgia for these past 2 years during the moratorium.
Yeah, and we've got to begin to do something about that. But let me say to you and Ms. Rayburn that these are the programs that we need. We've got to begin to get our youth involved the correct way and get them up. So I thank you all for what you're doing, because we want to basically do that. Because granted, if you don't, then that means Captain. I'm calling Captain too now. Chief Roberts has to step in and begin to handle it, and we don't want that. So you see, Officer Aldridge, you did it. But we want to basically make sure that Chief doesn't have to get them in his hands. So, our business and your business is to put our PD out of business. And that's what we're trying to do here. So let's move on. I wanted to bring on Judge Hill to talk, but I believe Dr. Shalonda Smith is online to begin to speak a little bit about what's going on with our rental assistance program as well. Are you there, Dr. Smith? I thought she was here. Dr. Smith? Okay, I guess she's moved on. All righty, so let's move on. Let's just ask the questions. This is citizens' time. I mean, we've got the Board of Education here with Mr. Christmas. If you all have anything, we want to talk about the school system. Mark, if you even want to begin to discuss a little bit about what's going on, what are some of the programs the schools are doing, how, because we got to tell our own story. We need to talk about the graduation rate and how it's increased in Clayton County, how we have 2 schools at 100% graduation rate. So this is due to the work that you all are doing and the student is doing. So is there anything you want to say about that?
Sorry about that, Commissioner Davis. I was typing in the chat. Somebody asked me a question.
Okay.
But yeah, we are definitely trying to get our graduation rates up. We were just meeting with Atlanta Aerial Tech, and not only Atlanta Aerial Tech, but also Clayton State. It hadn't really been put out yet, but we're going to start a dual enrollment date so we can get our kids on track to graduate, not only with a diploma, but with a certificate, possibly going right into their work field, making $60,000, $70,000 a year to change the look of the county of our young children. Of course, you know, we got the fire department involved. We have all the STEM programs involved. But we have to start with our babies, and not that we look over the middle school and the high school, but it starts with the babies. If we start with the babies and giving them everything they need to be successful in the career, then Chief Roberts don't have to deal with it. And not only that, I think in order for the school system to change, and I was just sharing this with somebody the other day, that we got to get back to being a community. We're not a community any further. You know, an adult used to could bring me home and tell my parents what I did, and I had nothing to say about it, and prayed that my dad didn't whoop me because I already got a whooping from the adult that brought me home. So I think we need to get back to being more communal, and not only that, we need to do something about mental health. Mental health is real. Our babies are dealing with some things at their homes and in their school, and our scholars are dealing with a whole lot of mental issues, and we allow the system, and it's just me talking, we allow systems to take our mental health away, and now it's so costly that we need to find a way to get back to the mental health avenue, and it's being done free of charge, or the government or somebody pays for it, we find some entity to pay for it. But those are some of the things. Go ahead.
Well, let me tell you this, and Chief Roberts can speak to it, because we are dealing with mental health, and Chief Roberts has gone ahead and directly began to deal with mental health on many of the calls. You wanted to talk a little bit about that, Chief?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Directly related to Mr. Christmas's topic of mental health, we took the initiative last year to incorporate a police social worker within our ranks, separate from whatever human services are provided by the county, because oftentimes our officers engage people in crisis or people dealing with challenges related to mental health, homelessness, juvenile related issues, and oftentimes those issues require a lot of time often that officers really don't have to dig in. So we wanted to make sure we were doing our due diligence and taking the proper care to get folks help versus get them incarcerated, because incarceration is not help for those people that are in crisis or dealing with social service issues. So now we have a liaison, and I'm trying to get another one, and thank the board for allowing me to have that second police social worker billet. I just got to find the right person to fill it and help Ms. Calloway do the great work she's already doing. For example, I tasked her with making contact with all of the homeless people that we know exist in different spaces on each district. And they did that. She and some officers that I designated to make contact. And the mission was just to make contact with those folks, offer them the services that they need to be successful, and just let them know we're here to support. So when they see a police officer, they know it's not necessarily about incarceration, but about assistance. Now, whether they took that assistance or not, we found that to be a challenge, because any services that are offered to them require some strict discipline, which may not be in line with the way they want to live. So oftentimes when you see folks in spaces like in a wood line, they're often there because that's where they want to be, because they don't want to do the things that are required of them to obtain the assistance that's available to them. So it's not that we're not trying, but even if we can't push them towards that assistance, we will always check on them and make sure they're safe and they don't fall into a realm of criminal activity. So that's what we're working on. And furthermore, we're partnering with the Clayton County Community Services Board. They're working on getting a mobile mental health response that'll be responding with our officers. So that, coupled with the departmental police social worker, I hope changes the dynamic where we're offering assistance more than we're doing the other side.
Great, great, thank you. And there's also a bill that is coming down out of the House that is talking about funding mental health issues at the local level. I'm in DC now, so I don't have that bill in front of me, but I'll begin to put forth that to you all, especially if you all that want to go down or write your state legislators to begin to discuss this and want to be in support of it. So I'll find that and hopefully have it on the next meeting then. So we have that. Where are we next? I'm trying to follow my list here. So we've gone over, we don't have Dr. Smith on the line any longer to talk about that. So we need questions. What community, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What do we need to improve on?
This is Judy Taylor again. I have
Hey.
two things I wanted to ask you about. The first one would be about, could you just briefly go over like any of the changes in the boundary lines because of the census that might have caused in our district? I'm going to do that first, and then I had some more questions about some upcoming zoning issues. All right.
Will do. We submitted our maps to the state, and I believe they have been approved this week. We have changed a little, our borders have changed a little bit as far as some of the precincts. You all will be getting updates of that in the next few weeks. The south side of District 4, the very southern section, has moved over, I believe, into District 1, I believe. And that's what it was previously, I guess, 10 years ago. So it's moved back over into that district, and we have just a smidgen of Riverdale that was in District 1 that has moved back into District 2. So we've got very, very minor changes, but you all will begin to notice that. I don't have the maps in front of me, Ms. Taylor. I apologize for that, but hopefully we will have the new maps soon to where I can put them up and let folks know.
Thank you. It doesn't sound as if we had drastic changes of any kind. Okay, to the zoning issue. We have quite a few zoning issues, I believe, upcoming, and particularly at your February 15th board meeting, you're going to be dealing with the McDonald Road issue zoning down there. And I know that's a big issue, and it is on there. I think they're wanting to build, what are they, what is it, 300 houses down in that area off of McDonald Road, and I believe that's coming up. And I just wanted to make sure that anybody that was interested would know if they wanted to have input, because it would affect traffic and situation down there. I did not understand where you were talking about the new townhouses, and I'm going to ask about that. But also, I don't know whether anybody knows, it's upcoming too, about some property, and this may be what you were talking about, over around Jonesboro Middle School behind Suter Elementary. You enter from Key Street and you enter, and it's on Prather and Embry Drive and all that, 26 acres. They're going to do, proposing 57 single family lots over in that area. And that's going to be coming up, and there's going to be a community meeting about that first. So anybody that wanted to know what was going on, they might want to attend the community meeting at the Griswold Center. I believe it's February 16th at 6 p.m. at the Griswold Center. And also there's possibility of some more talk about some townhouses in the area of the walk, behind the area at the Walker Nursery that's available, I believe. And also, I understand there's a chance that our Noah's Ark issue may be coming back again, with the potential of a mixed, I guess, townhouses and single family housing. And I believe if they would come back with just single family housing and take care of some of the traffic issues over in that area, it would be a lot more acceptable to the, I don't know that, but I want to make sure, it would be more acceptable to the people in the area, but I'm not sure how it would go, because that doesn't change why planning and zoning and the advisory board recommended denial before, and it would not help as far as the traffic issue. So anyway, could you go over any of that and also tell us where those townhouses are, you said, that are close to headquarters?
I'll try to go over each one. First of all, the ones by police headquarters, they're right when you're coming down the hill. If you were coming out on 138 and turning right out of headquarters, right down the hill, both sides of the street. They're proposing those. Those are the townhomes that are 100% for sale. They've not submitted any renderings or anything like that. So it's just in the discussion phase. The Walt Stevens property, that is dead. That is a dead issue now. Over there on Walt Stevens with the 59 acres, that is totally dead. Yes, they are looking to bring something back on Noah's Ark, but the Noah's Ark issue is that we have a traffic infrastructure. The infrastructure is very foul over there and right now cannot accommodate what anyone wants to put over there. So we have to look at it from an infrastructure development phase first. As far as the North McDonough issue going on, and this is where Mr. Maddox brought up a great deal, a great issue to me, is when he spoke about there is no fire station over in that side of town to begin to accommodate the increase in density over there. So if something were to break off, we could have a very, very bad situation that could happen. So we've got to really look at that. And that goes into building up our infrastructure. Anything that goes in which creates our density, we must make sure that we have fire that can accommodate an emergency, as well as PD that can accommodate emergency. And that's something that we really have to look into before we begin to look at anything that goes on with this. So I appreciate that. And that's where we're going with that. So we're going to go slow, but we're going to control how we grow and make sure that we can accommodate everything that takes place with that. So that's where we're going with that. I think I did answer all your questions, Ms. Taylor.
Yes, I hadn't even thought about it. I never had heard about the 138 issue down near the police station out through there. Is that already zoned residential, or would the zoning have to come up for them to build townhouses there?
I have to look at that. I believe, I can't remember the zoning offhand, what it is. But like I told you before, we're going to always look at things from a land use perspective and say, what do we want here? That's what we want to do, because we can sit stern on that and change the zoning to accommodate what we want and what the community wants with that. So that's how we're going to move forward with a lot of these. It's what do we want there, not what it's zoned for now. So
it seems as if we're approving a massive amount of new, either mostly townhouses, apartments, and then some housing. They just passed, it's not in our district, Poston Road, 600 going in right over there, right off of Terra Boulevard and Poston Road. And that's going to add to all this traffic. It's going to affect our district and everyone too. So we've got to be very careful about all this.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you that is going to be, I think, an asset to the community with those homes coming in there over there. No, it is not in District 4, but we have to realize that is on a major corridor. Will it increase traffic? Everything that we build will increase traffic, but we have to begin to renew our stock of apartment buildings or whatever else we have. When I first came in office, I approved the first market rate apartment building since 2005 here in Clayton County. So that is going to begin to replace some of the old stock that we have. So some of the stock will be eliminated, and some of the stock in our market will begin to get upgraded. And that's what we have to shoot for.
Well, I just think anybody that has any vacant property around them, so especially wooded property around their houses or anything, just needs to be aware, watch for signs, be careful, because, you know, just to check on things and see, it might be something they'd like to have, it might not be. So I think people just need to be aware and keep up with what's going to happen, because you can get it in the News Daily publishes upcoming zoning issues in time for you to attend the community meetings. I don't think people realize that y'all have a community meeting for them to first come and look and see what's happening to the zoning first, and then decide whether, and they can give input into planning and zoning and everything for that before it goes to the zoning advisory board and then to the board of commissioners. I wish more people would get involved with that to see what's going on before the trees all start coming down next to their property. Then it's too late.
Well, and that's true. We have to do that, but that's why I like to bring it to you all first. So this, what I'm telling you about 138 is even before it hits a community meeting. I like you all to be aware of it a little bit in the discussion phase, not in the planning stages. But we also have to be careful and cognizant that these folks have a right to do with their property as they see fit, but they have to do it in a way which is commensurate with the needs and the desires of the citizens of Clayton County.
One thing that happens is then they want to cut through, when they build their new things, they want to cut through the existing neighborhoods. And that's particularly true on the 138. I believe they wanted to go back into those homes on Bambi in that area. And they just can't, they don't need to do that. You know, that just causes real issues when they cut back through neighborhoods and everything too.
Well, like I said, I've met with them. The one that wanted to do the cut through, that is dead. I've not heard of the one going through Bambi when I had sat down and had a discussion with them. So, we're going to move forward. We have to be diligent in listening to these folks, but we also have to be diligent and get our community involved in what we want to see coming into this community.
It really would be nice if more developers would look at some of our blighted existing properties to take them down sometimes. And I know it's not what they want to do. And it's more expensive because they got to get the property ready and everything else too. But it would be great if they would look after and get rid of some of those and build on sites that do not already have trees and whatever else on them. So we could at least keep some of our greenery and trees in the county and everything else too. So that would be a great thing if they would do that. But it's up to them. I'm sure it's up to them, whatever they want to do with that.
Exactly.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Davis, this is
Yes.
Janice Arcuria.
Good morning.
Good morning. As you know, I live in District 4, but I'm also the president of Friends of the Library, Clayton County.
Mhm.
And I wanted to point out that Mr. Christmas mentioned that the partnership that he's working on at the Brooks Crossing Apartments was a partnership between the school district apparently and the library system.
Mhm.
And also at least 2 nights this week, the library system has been on one of the major news stations. They interviewed Director Lett and I believe the Assistant Director Marquita Gooch about virtual job training programs that the library system is offering. So they've got some major nice publicity from this, which is just a reminder that library systems of today are offering a lot more services both in the library and out in the community than people may realize. I also wanted to give a shout out to a project. I see Miss Wandy is here as a citizen on this line and this meeting, but I wanted to mention that the Friends of the Library has partnered with the child care in which she is the director, Little Ones in Forest Park. And the Friends of the Library is funding 15 infants and toddlers through age 5 through the First Readers program so that each of these children will receive a free book funded by the library each month up through age 5 to improve their literacy. And that does lead me into a library question. And then I have a follow-up question about the zoning. I'm curious to find out if the commissioners have had any more discussions on how to fund a replacement library for the Jonesboro area, because we all know that it's going to take some planning for the budget process, the SPLOS project or something else to be able to make new or renovated library in the Jonesboro area possible. And my second question after you answer that is, I'm really confused now. Are there 2 pieces of property that are on or near the Walker Nursery? Because you said one that looks like it's happening is an Ermid Village, and then the other one you said I thought was dead. So I'm a little confused about that. At one time there was discussion of property there feeding into the Richmond Hill neighborhood, which I already said they have traffic issues trying to get on 138 or Walt Stevens, I guess it is.
Yes.
So could you clarify that also for me?
Sure. As far as the library, what we're doing is we're building a new government center. We have a very outdated government center at 112. So that's what we're trying to do. So what we're doing is relocating the library. The library is not going away. As the conversation begins to move on. It is, and I repeat, it is not going away. What we are doing is we're looking for another location for the library, the city of Jonesboro, but we're going to use that property to keep the new government center on. So again, the library is not going away. And also too, if you can send me some information on the program that they're doing with the reading program, that would be great. That would be great. So we can begin to put that out for what the library is doing. I know libraries are evolving. They're evolving like everything else is evolving, and we've got to utilize them and begin to market them as such. But again, our library is not going away here in Clayton County, nor in the city of Jonesboro. As far as the other property goes over by Richmond Hills, that's where you have the Walker Nursery. There's another 59 acres that wraps around the back. It starts east of Walker Nursery toward Camp Road, and it wraps around the Walker Nursery towards Richmond Hills. That is the property we're speaking about as far as the dead project where they wanted to put I want to say 300 and something homes over there. So that project is dead. Does that answer your question, Ms. Curie? Hello?
Probably the most accurate and best way to get detailed information about the library's programs now would be to reach out to the library director, Rosalind Lett, or the deputy director, Scott Parham, so they could give you the most accurate and current information on some of these projects.
Will do. Thank you.
Commissioner Davis, do you know where, I believe there's something else on there on Walt Stevens about someone wanting to build a church. I guess it's not far from the schools around Roberts Middle School and Pace and something. I believe it's on the on there for your next agenda for that. Do you know about that?
I know there's a piece of property on 138 that they're looking to, somebody's looking to develop, and I have to look further into that.
Yeah, this is Greater Works Baptist Church, and they're looking, it's located at 3296 Walt Stevens Road, and it's north of the Pace Elementary School right there, and they're wanting to build a new sanctuary building.
I'll have to look at that. I can't even comment on that right now, Ms. Taylor.
Okay, I wasn't clear about where it was, or and everything too right in there. But anyway, thank you so much for answering all the questions today. We appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Hello, I'm
Yes.
Cynthia Bourget. I'm with the Business Development Authority. I'm a business development manager. I just wanted to make a comment, as there was someone who mentioned some workforce resources.
Yeah.
Anyone who's interested in looking for jobs or workforce resources, you can go to claytonworksga.com and you can find that information there. Just wanted to provide that resource to our District 4 residents.
And Sydney, I'm sorry I didn't bring you on. I saw you out there. Speak a little bit about that program for us quickly.
Of course. So the Development Authority last year put together a website that is focusing on connecting local residents with resources for workforce development. So that program is called Clayton Works. Essentially, we put together different job positions that are in local Clayton County in the Metro Atlanta area, put it on our website, as well as connect all the different workforce resources that are available in the county and put it on that website for individuals who are interested in looking for that type of information. We also do job hiring events and workshops. So any information, if you're looking for a job, trying to increase your skills for your career, Clayton Works is where you should go.
Now, Sydney, also give your contact information if anyone wants to contact you regarding this.
Yes. So I will put, if it's okay, I can put my contact information in the chat. But I am, again, my name is Sydney Elise Bourget, and I'm with the Development Authority. If you look on Invest Clayton, you should find my staff information, but I will go ahead and put my information in the chat.
Great, thank you. And I want to say this to us all. This is one of our young folks that have been developed in the Clayton County school system. And when I say she's doing a fabulous job, she's doing a fabulous job. So thank you for everything you do, Ms. Bourget.
Thank you so much.
Okay, any other questions? We're getting down to we passed the noon hour by 4 minutes. Any other questions we might have for anyone?
Hello, Commissioner Davis. I had a question in regards to the density issue that was brought up by Judy Taylor earlier. As everybody knows, there's a lot of traffic. And one of the big things I want to know, where do we stand in regards to working with MARTA, as well as looking for car alternatives or increasing our sidewalks, or as well as introducing technology such as BRT into the community in order to mitigate some of that? Because one of the things that we don't want is when it comes to development in the south side, we have not caught up to the north side yet. So to not replicate the issue, how are we addressing it before we get to that point?
We have had some meetings with MARTA just as late as last week, as well as the ATL. And we are looking and discussing the BRTs across 138 and some of the major corridors coming into Clayton County. This is significant because what we want to do, unlike the north side, is that we want to try to get our our infrastructure in place first before we increase our density. We know the density is going to go up, but I believe we have to control our density and make sure our density is increased in certain areas, that we can accommodate it through minimal infrastructure development as well as a maximum infrastructure development. We've been discussing this a long time. We know rail is mostly unlikely, so we've looked at a couple of different alternatives. I don't have that folder in front of me again, but what I will do for the next meeting is I will have a discussion or try to get somebody from MARTA to come on to begin to discuss some of the projects that we have before us and what the discussion phases are, if you all would like that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yes, that would be really great.
Great, great. So I'm putting that down. Anyone else? And this is what this is my favorite part of these meetings, because I get to know what's on the top of you all's mind so that we can begin to address it. Anyone else?
What about recycling for Clayton County?
You broke up, Ms. Bennett. I'm sorry.
Also, what about recycling for Clayton County?
Recycling. And I'm going to say that's in an infancy discussion phase.
Okay.
To where honestly, I think we need to pick that ball up. We need to pick that ball up, but honestly, it's in an infancy stage where we've got to even begin a discussion on it. So I'll put that down as something that you all are interested in.
Can I also suggest something too?
Yes.
A shredding event for the county as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I see.
Does everyone know that we have a recycling place down on 138 in Jonesboro where people can take their items Monday through Saturday to be recycled, if that's what they're talking about, but you have to take your own. I wasn't sure whether that's what they were talking about or a county event of some kind.
Well, I think we'd have to begin to look at something as well when they begin to discuss, quote unquote, the mandatory trash pickup. If that were to happen, then recycling needs to be possibly put into that plan. So I think it needs to be put in all together. But right now, I just want to let folks know, a lot of folks think that we approved a mandatory trash pickup. That is not true. What we approved was to research how to do a mandatory trash pickup in the county. But as far as mandatory trash pickup, it is not here.
Commissioner Davis, this is Janice Arteria again. I have been pleasantly surprised every time that I go to drop off some items at the recycle center. There are always multiple cars they're dropping off. That is never no one there or even just one car there. It's obviously popular in the county. From time to time, though, it does seem like there's a delay in picking up the full big trash, whatever you call those giant bins that you put things like aluminum cans in. Last time I was there, and this has happened before, is they were pretty much falling on the ground because they were over full. But I have been impressed on how many people do drop off items.
Good. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. And that's what we have to do here. We've got to be, I think that would go well into cleaning up this area. So we're going to have to begin to get our friends involved in that and get them doing it as well. Any other questions? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I guess I was speaking on also as in residential recycling and also expanding our recycling places within Clayton County.
Right. Now that's what I thought you're speaking of as well, as far as residential. So that's what I'm making note of. All righty. Well, we're moving on. We know that everybody wants a clean Clayton County, so we're going to really shoot for that.
I would just like to say thank you for having these meetings. They are very informative, and I wish more people would enter in them because it lets us know what's going on in our county, especially with the commissioners, the law enforcement, etc. And I commend all of you for the job that you're doing.
Well, thank you, Ms. Dunson. I appreciate you and everything you do in the county, in the community as well as the rest of you all. This is what it's about. So I'm gonna task everyone with bringing a friend to the next meeting so that we can even get a better turnout and I can even learn more from more folks than just you all, because you all are teaching me a great deal and I appreciate that. But also, let me go ahead and give you some things about the upcoming events, as I've kept you all and I don't want to keep you any longer. We do have the Parents Night Out with Troy Hodges spoke about on Monday, February 14th. And you all know that's not all night, that's not an overnighter. So get those kids in and pick them up. The next one we have, which Mr. Christmas spoke about, was the Crossing the Brooks of Literacy. That is, when is that here? I have that written down.
February 16th.
March, okay, great. What time is that, Mark?
From 4 to 6, February 16th. It's in the chat.
Great, great, great. So I'm going to get out there and I hope to see you all out there as well. We're having a District 4 cleanup day on Saturday, February 19th. This is not the same as the community trash day. This is one where we're going to get volunteers. We're selecting a proposed right now is Valley Hill Road over Lamar Hutchins in Riverdale. And we're getting out. Refuse is going to give us bags and we're going to pick up trash. That simple. So I'm hoping that we can get folk out there and we can begin to clean our community, because it's not just about the government and refuge and code enforcement doing it. We have to do our part as well. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be on February 19th from 11 to 1. Also, too, we have the State of the County address, which Chairman Jeff Turner will be giving. That is March 16th at 11:30 at the Georgia International Convention Center. And you have to get tickets for those, but those tickets are available at councilforqualitygrowth.org. Excuse me. That's councilforqualitygrowth.org. And that's where you will hear what is going on with our county, what is the state of our county, and where we're trying to go. So I think that is going to be great. You can also view it. It's going to be live streamed as well. I don't have that in front of me, but something will be going out soon and we'll get that to you. And also we're planning, we just don't have a location yet. We're having a senior luncheon movie on March 26th. I think that I believe it's either 1 or 2 p.m. We'll send that out as we get closer. And hopefully we'll get a good turnout for that as well. So these are just some of the things that we're trying to plan for the community. We want the community to be involved, but we also want to begin to just really, let's get out and meet our neighbors and do the right thing here. So do we have any more questions before we dismiss? Anything from anyone, any announcements?
Commissioner Davis.
If I could mention,
Yes, who's there?
Hi,
this is Jordan.
Commissioner. This is Shakira.
Well, hello, Ms. Crew. You're breaking up a little bit. Your connection is a little weak, Shigel.
Thank you and the other county officials for everything that you're doing, and just support what everyone has been saying, all important issues. I did want to ask 2 quick questions, and I know everyone's ready to go. First, are District 4 streets on the SPLOST list to be repaved anytime soon? Because we're having kind of quite a few potholes. And the other thing, I wanted to know if the commissioners have been approached or given consideration to charging stations for hybrid vehicles or electric vehicles.
Yeah.
I know you all are very forward thinking, and we wanted to make sure that we're moving forward like everyone else is concerned about the environment. Thank you. Thanks for all you do.
As far as potholes, please send me the locations of those potholes. We can get somebody out to do those relatively quick. As far as the repaving of the roads, we do have a list of those. And if you're concerned about certain roads, just please let me know about those and I can find out where they are on the list or add them to the list. But as far as the potholes, get those to me immediately. As far as charging stations, I've already been in discussion with a company that is looking to bring charging stations in. I think it is past time to do that. We need to increase our green movement here in the county. And I'm fully behind that and supporting that as far as technology goes and green goes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And I think we had someone else that was trying to get in, was Miss Rayburn?
Yes, that was me. Thank you so much. I just wanted to mention that we do an orientation via Zoom for anyone that's interested in being a volunteer with our program. It basically does an overview of the program. We do them on the second Tuesday of every month. You can register for that site by going to fostercares.org/mentoring. So again, that's the second Tuesday of every month, beginning at 6:30. So the next session upcoming is on March 8th.
Great, thank you. If you can put that in the chat room, I'll
Thank
keep
you.
this up for a second so that folks can get that. All
Thank you.
right. Well, I want to thank everyone for being involved here. We did go a little bit over, and I try to get everything in by exactly noon. But I thank you all for staying over. I thank you all PD and first responders for what you do, code enforcement for what you do, as well as everyone else that work in this county to make it a better place to live. We want to increase our quality of life, but we want to increase it and define it at the same time of what we want here. So thank you all. You all have a great weekend. Have a great Super Bowl Sunday, and hopefully your team wins. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.